features that are included with the basic call center solution are also included with the standard and premium call center solution. The basic call center solution includes the ability to upload customizable greetings and announcements, including the call center entrance message, comfort messages with timers, and music or video on hold. BroadWorks supports video greetings and announcements for all supported files. The ability to announce the location in queue and estimated wait time can also be configured in announcements. This message is played immediately after the entrance message announcement and allows the caller to get some estimate of the wait time or their position in queue, so they can decide whether or not to remain on hold. For example, the caller might hear, "Your estimated wait time is 3 minutes," or "You are number 25 in the queue." File chaining also applies to the announcement settings. You have the ability to associate a string of up to 4 separate files for each announcement, and the files are always played in that order. Multiple call distribution options are supported, including circular, regular, simultaneous, uniform, and weighted call distribution, which can be used as an element of skills-based routing. Also included is the ability for callers to escape from the queue to a call forward busy destination or voicemail, and options to set overflow policies based on either wait time or the number of calls currently in the queue. Customers can also assign priorities to queues using the routing priority settings. With this feature, when an agent becomes free, the call waiting the longest or the call in the highest priority queue will be presented next. Auto attendants can be used to route the caller to the appropriate group of agents. Call forward policies can be applied to the call centers to redirect the calls to alternate locations during non-business hours or special closed situations, including call forward always, call forward busy, and call forward selective. Unified messaging can also be assigned to the call center to enable a voicemail box for the call center and support sending voice messages as attachments in an email. Users can manage whether or not they receive calls using the join function, which can be set using the user's BroadWorks web portal. For basic call center agents that are assigned the BroadWorks Receptionist Enterprise license, they can join or unjoin from the desktop client. Distinctive ring options have been enhanced in Release 17, allowing administrators to assign different ring patterns to different call centers. This allows phone-based agents to distinguish between calls coming from different call centers. 4 unique ring patterns are available to choose from. Basic call centers can have up to 25 calls in the queue at any given time. Shortly, we are going to build a basic call center in the BroadWorks web portal. However, let's make sure we understand the required and optional licenses needed for creating a basic call center. First, we will need to assign each member of the call center a service pack. Next, we will need to assign each member of the call center a call center basic license. As an option, we know that basic call center agents can use the BroadWorks Receptionist Enterprise desktop client, which enables call queuing and allows for the receptionist to have visibility into the call queue from the desktop client. Other optional licenses might include user services applied to the call center, such as call forward always, call forward busy, call forward selective, messaging, and call logs. You may also consider assigning the calling name retrieval service to the call center as well. And an additional optional group service would be an auto attendant. Auto attendants provide callers with multiple options to help them reach the appropriate group of agents. As mentioned previously, identifying the scope of your call center prior to provisioning will result in a more efficient and successful deployment. For this exercise, we're going to build a basic call center. Let's call this customer Bernie Ford. They would like callers to be greeted by an automated attendant, which allows them to either dial someone directly or dial an operator. When the caller selects to reach an operator, They want the call to be routed to the receptionist, but in the event the receptionist is busy or away, they want the call to be routed to alternate backup employees. They also want callers to hear a customized message while they are waiting in queue. They may have previously used a hunt group for this function, but with the addition of the queuing functionality, they can provide better customer service. Quick inventory specifically for the call center. We'll need 4 service packs, 1 for each user, and they will also each need a call center basic license. And for this example, let's assign the BroadWorks Receptionist Enterprise license to the main receptionist, so a quantity of 1. Because we are routing overflow calls to voicemail, we need to assign the messaging service to this call center. So voice messaging user, quantity of 1. Lastly, we need 1 auto attendant license. Now we are going to transition to the BroadWorks web portal and build the call center for Bernie Ford following the 4 steps identified previously in this video. Let's get started. Click Resources, then Services. Then select the service pack you are going to be assigning to your call center users. As a best practice, you should consider creating service packs specifically for users that will be assigned to call centers, and that include all the telephony services and the appropriate call center licenses and client licenses. For example, you could create a basic agent, standard agent, premium agent, and supervisor service pack. However, for this video, I've created 1 telephony service pack and called it the Office Service Pack. We will add the call center licenses at the user level separately. This is to illustrate that call center licenses are assigned at the user level. Check the Office box here, and we will assign the call center user licenses separately. So let's scroll down to User Services and check the box for Call Center Basic. And let's limit the number of licenses to be assigned to this group. Since we know that there are only 4 call center users at Bernie Ford, let's limit this to 4. This can always be changed later and doesn't affect your inventory of licenses until you actually assign them to users or the group. Then check the BroadWorks Receptionist Enterprise box and enter a quantity of 1. There are several additional user services you may want to consider assigning to your call center in order to provision your customers' overflow policies and escape from queue options. Those may include Call Forward Busy, Call Forward Selective, Voice Messaging User, and Calling Name Retrieval. Bernie Ford is going to route their overflow calls to the call center voicemail, so we need to include Voice Messaging User with a quantity of 1. Let's also select Calling Name Retrieval, and we'll assign that service to the call center later. In Release 17, this service enables a more efficient processing of the name retrieval in BroadWorks. Then click Apply and OK. Now we can tackle step 2, which is to assign the licenses to the call center users. Go back to the profile page for the group and click on Users. And let's do a last name search for Joanne Graff. Select Joanne, then click Assign Services. Next, click the Office Service Pack and click Add. Then select Call Center Basic and click Add. Then click Apply and OK. We have now assigned the Call Center Basic Agent License to Joanne Graff, and she can now be assigned to any basic call center that you create. You would follow the exact same procedure for the remaining call center users. For training purposes, those users have already been provisioned with these licenses. Before we move on to building the call center and adding these agents, We have one more user license to address, and that is the receptionist client license. For this example, Wendy Fell is a receptionist and needs call queuing enabled from her desktop client. So we need to assign the BroadWorks Receptionist Enterprise license along with the Call Center Basic license to her as a user. So let's select Wendy Fell, click Users, and do a last name search for Wendy Fell. Select Wendy, then click Assign Services, select the Office Service Pack, and click Add. Select the BroadWorks Receptionist Enterprise Service, and click Add. Then select Call Center Basic, and click Add. Next, click Apply, and then OK. We have now assigned the Call Center Basic license and BroadWorks Receptionist Enterprise license to the receptionist, Wendy Fell. Moving on to step 3, which begins by building the profile of your call center, assigning phone numbers and extensions, assigning agents, uploading announcements, and configuring messaging settings. Go to the profile page of your group, and then let's click Services and Call Center. You'll see the Add Basic button, since that is the only type of call center user license that has been authorized and assigned to this group. You will also see the Add Call Center Wizard button. You can create your call center by either clicking the Add Basic button and manually going through each page to configure your call center, or the Add Call Center Wizard button to let BroadWorks guide you through the setup process. If you select Add Call Center Wizard, it will step you through the profile, addresses, and agent screens. This simplifies the workflow of setting up a call center. However, for training purposes, we will manually build this call center. Let's click Add Basic. We are currently signed in to the Bernie Ford group. This group has already been assigned users, and for training purposes, we are only going to be adding the licenses that are associated with the call center. There will be a few best practices discussed during this video, but for more information on how to provision services or features outside the scope of setting up a call center, please contact the BroadStaff representative responsible for your account. Now, using the 4 steps, we will start by assigning the call center services at the group level. Now you will begin configuring the profile for your call center. You can see the call center ID, call center name, and calling line ID information are already populated on this page for training purposes. However, when naming your call centers, it's best to use a standard naming convention for the call center ID, call center name, and calling line ID. Then select the department if applicable. For this example, we will keep the setting at none. Next, select the group policy. We are going to keep the default selection of regular as the group policy, which will always start the selection process with the user at the top of the list of agents. That way, the primary receptionist will always get the call if she is available. Next, select the preferred codec. We will leave this at none. This option will force the prompts and hold media to use the specified codec. Enter the max number of queued calls that you want to have in the queue at any given time. The max is 25 for basic call centers. When this number is reached, the call center will follow the overflow policies defined in Overflow Settings. Bernie Ford has requested that calls are routed to voicemail if they reach the queue limit. Setting the queue size may be very different for different customers, and Bernie Ford has requested that we set this to 10. The play ringing when offering a call box enables the calling party to hear ringing when the call is ringing an available agent's device. We're going to keep this box checked. When disabled, the caller will continue to hear music on hold until the agent actually answers the call. The Enable Video Support box allows the video option to be enabled for each type of greeting or announcement. Let's check that box. The next option is for enabling callers to manually escape from the queue and specifying the digit they will need to select to escape from the queue. The default digit is 0. However, it can be configured to any number. A couple of important points about the escape option. First, if you enable this feature and use the system default message for the entrance and comfort greeting, you will need to leave this digit at 0 because the default greetings assume you've used a 0 digit. Next, callers that escape will be routed to the call center's busy treatment destination, which may be the call forward busy destination or voice messaging. So you need to assign and configure one of those services for the call center if you want to use this option. Otherwise, the caller will hear a fast busy signal. We are going to disable this option for Bernie Ford. They do not want callers to be able to escape from the queue. Next, we need to select our agent settings. The setting Allow Agents to Join Call Centers is designed to either allow or restrict the agents from joining the call center from their web portal. When disabled, only the administrator can change their join setting. When enabled, the agent can join or unjoin from their web portal screen. We're going to enable this since we want to permit the users to change their availability. Allowing call waiting on agents. If this option is selected, a new ACD call can be presented to agents while they are on the phone with another call, meaning they will hear a beep in their ear if a new ACD call is presented to them. We're going to turn call waiting off. This takes advantage of the call center's ability to present the call to someone that is available to take the call right away. Next, click Apply, and then OK. Now you're ready to assign a phone number and extension to this call center. Start by clicking Addresses from the main profile page of the call center. Then select a number from the drop-down list if you're going to assign this call center a direct inward dial number. This is not a requirement, only an option. And for this example, we'll leave the setting at none. Then assign an extension to the call center. It is recommended that you come up with a standard naming convention for your call centers. For this example, let's use extension 7000. We do not have any SIP aliases to apply to this call center. So click Apply, and then OK. Now we need to assign the agents to the call center. Click on Agents. Then click Search. Since we're creating a basic call center, this will list all users that have any call center user license assigned to them within the enterprise or group, meaning all users with premium, standard, and basic call center licenses will be visible. Since call centers can include users from anywhere in the enterprise or group, you can include agents from any site or group. This allows you to build a call center that includes users that span multiple physical sites or offices. Select the agents you'd like to add, and let's do a search for Joanne Graff. Select Joanne Graff, and then click Add. Let's also add Wendy Fell to this call center. Select Wendy, and then click Add. Because Wendy is the receptionist and we want her to receive all of the calls first, we're going to move her up in the order of agents. Then click Apply and OK. During the profile setup of the call center, you'll be prompted to enter a password for the call center. To reset that password or create a password for the messaging service, if that service is assigned to the call center, click Password. The web access password will be needed in this example for the receptionist, Wendy Fell, to be able to sign in to the call center queue from the receptionist console. This password can be a combination of numbers and other characters that can be reset from here. The portal password represents the voice portal password associated with this call center. That will be the password assigned to the voicemail box for the call center. You will want to use digits for this password so people can access it using the keys on a phone. Because we have not yet assigned the messaging service to this call center, we do not see the option for setting the portal password. Once that service is assigned, you can set the password from here. Next, click on Announcements. Announcements is a very important section because it reflects the experience of the caller when they reach the call center. The announcement options allow you to enable greetings and hold media for callers when they reach the call center and while they are in queue. There are 4 types of messages or greetings to configure: the entrance message, estimated wait message, comfort message, and music or video on hold. Each announcement is optional and can be enabled independently. The first announcement option is the entrance message, which is played once the caller first reaches the call center or queue. Select the top box if you want an entrance message to be played. The second box, entrance message is mandatory when played, will force the message to always be played to completion when a caller reaches a call center. You have 3 options for specifying the audio announcement that will be played. The first option, default, is the system's default announcement, which will state, "Your call is very important to us. Please wait for the next available agent or press 0 to leave a message," if you have the escape from queue option selected. If you do not have the escape from queue option selected, the callers will hear, "Your call is very important to us. Please wait for the next available agent." The next 2 options are for customized greetings. New in Release 17 is the ability to chain multiple files together to create a customized announcement or greeting. What this permits is the reuse of message fragments, such as, "Thank you for calling Broadsoft," and "You have reached our customer support department," and "Our hours of operation are." Those messages would be combined and played in sequence to create a single greeting or announcement. This feature is available for all announcement types and all call center types. The URL option allows you to point to a server that hosts the custom greeting file or files. You would store the audio file on a server in your network and provide a pointer in this section so that the BroadWorks media server can retrieve the file when it needs to be played. Next is the custom option. For training purposes, we are going to select the custom option. 3 messages have already been uploaded to the BroadWorks portal to enable the use of file chaining. In this example, you can see the first message, or fragment, is the welcome message, followed by the department, and lastly the hours. These messages, or fragments, can easily be changed and used across multiple call centers or in various announcement options. Note that there are specific file requirements that need to be met before the file or files can be uploaded. Please reference the Help section within the BroadWorks portal under the Group Services in the Music Video Hold section. The required file type and compression algorithms are listed there. In both custom options, you can either load or point to a single file or use file chaining. Next, let's click Apply. The next message to configure is the estimated wait message. Let's click the Estimated Wait Message tab. There are 2 types of announcements to choose from: Announce queue position or Announce wait time. Both messages can be configured such that the message is played to callers up to a certain maximum, either number of callers in queue or number of minutes to wait. There is also an option for playing a high call volume message if the queue position or estimated wait time exceeds the maximums of when to play the announcement. For example, if the Announce queue position option is selected and the play message for caller's queue position is set to 25 or lower, then the 26th caller in queue will hear a high call volume message if the play high volume message option is selected. The same treatment is performed for the announcement of wait time. By default, the estimated wait time is calculated using an average handle time that is derived in BroadWorks. The BroadWorks system administrator sets a default sampling period and size to calculate the average handling time in the system-level call center configuration page. In the event the average handling time cannot be calculated, the default handling time specified on this page will be used to derive the estimated wait time. Let's click Enable Estimated Wait Message for queued calls and keep the Announce Wait Time option selected. And let's set this to 20 minutes or lower. We'll enable Play High Volume Message and leave the default handling time to 5 minutes per call. Next, let's click Apply. The comfort message is the next option or setting to be made for audio announcements within your call center. Let's click the Comfort Message tab now. This is a message that will play periodically while the caller is in the queue. If it is the only announcement that is enabled, it will be played as soon as the caller reaches the queue. Otherwise, it's played after the music on hold and after the entrance greeting. The time between messages allows you to configure how often the message is played while the callers are in queue. Same as the entrance message, you have 3 options for loading the message file or files. The default greeting, which is the same greeting as the default greeting in the entrance message options, retrieving the file from a server via the URL, or uploading a custom greeting. File chaining can also be used for both the URL and custom options. For this training exercise, we're going to select Play Comfort Message, and let's set the time between messages to 20 seconds. We're going to use the custom greeting with file chaining. 2 files have been preloaded for training purposes. The first is a message fragment announcing the July featured service, and the second is a thank you for holding message. These messages will be played in this order and as one announcement. Then let's click Apply. The final message to be addressed in announcements is Music or Video on Hold. Let's click the Music on Hold message tab. Music on hold in the call center environment can be played in 2 different scenarios. 1, when callers are in queue, or 2, when an agent places them on hold. The Enable Music or Video on Hold for Queued Calls feature is configured in the screen. When an agent puts a call on hold, the user-based Music on Hold file is played back to the caller. It is recommended that this box is checked so that callers know they are waiting in queue. Also within the Music on Hold feature, you have the ability to customize the music on hold for external and for internal callers. External audio is played to callers from outside the enterprise, and internal audio is played to callers within the enterprise. If you recall from the profile page, you can specify a different codec for the playback of music on hold to external and internal callers, which is typically used to allow for bandwidth savings when the media is played to external callers. File chaining is also available for the Music on Hold announcement feature. Similar to the group-level Music on Hold settings, you can also specify an external source for the service, which allows for streaming media, such as an internet radio station or some other continuous media source. Next, let's click Apply, and then OK. Still on step 3, we need to address Overflow Settings. Click Overflow. Overflow rules come into play when a pre-configured overflow threshold is met, meaning either the overflow timer or when the queue length is exceeded. In this case, the queue length has already been set to 10. Once either of those overflow thresholds are met, there are 3 different actions that can be configured to handle the overflowed calls. The first is to perform busy treatment. This will follow the call forward busy settings that have been configured for the call center. If you have the call forward busy service assigned and activated, the call will be forwarded to the specified destination. If you have the messaging service assigned and activated to send busy calls to voicemail, the call will be routed to the call center's voicemail box. If both are assigned and activated, the call forward busy service will take precedence over voice messaging. If neither of the services are assigned, the caller will get a busy tone. The next option is to immediately transfer the call to another destination, which can be another call center, a specific directory number or extension, or any external number. You can also include feature access codes in the destination numbers, which can be used to immediately route the call into a user's voicemail box. The final option is to play ringing to the caller until they hang up. While not common, in some environments, you may want to use this option. Next, you can set the overflow timer, which is the number of seconds a call will remain in the queue before the overflow treatment is activated. And finally, you have the option to play an announcement before sending the call to the overflow destination. If you choose to announce, then you can either use the default setting or upload a custom message, similar to the announcement services. For this training exercise, we want all overflow calls to route to the call center voicemail or perform busy treatment. We will set the messaging settings to send busy calls to voicemail. We'll also enable the play announcement feature using the default message. And let's enable the overflow timer for 180 seconds. If you recall, we previously set the queue length to 10 calls, so if the number of calls in queue ever exceeds 10 or a call is held in the queue for longer than 180 seconds, the caller will hear the announcement specified on this page and then be forwarded to the busy destination, which in this example would be voice messaging. Let's click Apply and then OK. Now that we have built our call center profile, we need to assign the additional services to the call center. Click Assign Services. Since we have provisioned overflow calls to route to voicemail, we need to assign the voice messaging service to the call center. Select Voice Messaging User and click Add. From here, we can also assign the calling name retrieval service and click Add. Next, click Apply and then OK. Still on step 3, we can now assign a distinctive ring to calls that are sent to agents from this call center. Let's click Distinctive Ringing. Then select the type of ring from the drop-down menu. And let's pick the short, short, long pattern. Then click Enable. Next, click Apply and OK. Now the agents will hear this ring type for all ACD calls from this call center. We are now ready for step 4 in setting up this basic call center for Bernie Ford. On the Group Services page, the administrator will see all the call centers that have been set up for the group. They can activate and deactivate call centers at any time from this page. We'll also configure the agent default settings and routing priority settings starting from this page. First, we'll take a look at the agent default settings. Let's click Agent Default Settings. The guard timer defines the amount of time when an agent completes a call and when a new call can be presented to them. It provides a short interval after the completion of a call before a new call will start ringing their device. Let's keep this set to the enterprise level, and let's enable the guard timer for 5 seconds. Next, let's click Apply and then OK. Next is Routing Priority Settings. Let's click Routing Priority Settings. This screen allows you to define which call to present to an agent when the agent is assigned to multiple call centers and calls are queued against multiple call centers. The first decision is in the Routing Policy option to either present the longest waiting call across those call centers or to present them based on a specified priority order. If you select priority order, then the order specified in this section will define which call gets presented, with the calls in the higher priority call center being presented before the lower priority call center. The list includes all the call centers within the enterprise, since users can be assigned to call centers that are in any group within the enterprise. For this exercise, we are just going to leave this setting to the longest waiting call. Click Apply, and then OK. And that wraps up the 4-step process for configuring a basic call center. It's important to test your call flow prior to go live to ensure a smooth transition upon installation.